What is up, you guys? Brooke here. This could be a really terrible idea or it could be kind of comical. We'll find out. I'm gonna give myself pigtails so that way I appear younger on the screen. Does this look at all hip to the youngins out there? I don't know if this looks okay. Anyway, we're rolling with it. Today I am talking about advice that I would give to younger writers. And I'm talking about this type of advice with my friend and fellow author-tuber Briana. Is it Briana or Briana? It's Briana. I just totally went blank real quick because I call her Brie. Briana Morgan has her own AuthorTube channel and she is collabing with me today and she talks about advice to give to younger writers. Wouldn't it be funny if she had the same idea as me and wore pigtails for the video? Brie and I are going to be saying 3 things that we would like to bestow upon the younger youth of writers out there. Go check out her video. I have the link below for after you watch this video. You can go click on her video to see what else she has to say. Because I feel like I've been there whenever I was a younger writer. I've been through all the struggles and all the emotions of wanting to write a book whenever you were maybe a teen or a pre-teen. The first advice that I'd like to give to younger writers out there in the world is that you don't have to feel the need to get published right away. I remember whenever I was younger and I thought if I wasn't published as a teenager that it was never going to happen for me because no one has their book published whenever they're over 20. I felt that if I didn't get published whenever I was young that it just wasn't going to happen for me. And I feel like it's because I saw this one book called Halo, and it was a book about a girl who was an angel who fell in love with a human. I'm pretty sure it's something like that. And I remember reading that the author of the book was a girl who was in high school. And I thought in my head that that was amazing, but that if she had gotten published at this age, then I could too. And that I needed to get published right away in order to jumpstart my career as an author. And then whenever I turned 20 years old, I was so sad because I thought my prime of my writing life was over. For some reason, I don't know why I thought this, but I did. I just kind of felt like if it hasn't happened yet, then it's just not going to. Even though there's so many authors out there in the universe that they've written something at whatever age, and age does not matter whenever you're trying to get published. I feel like age doesn't matter, but experience does. So if you're a writer and you are a teenager or even a preteen or whatever and you're wanting to write a book, then I say go for it. Is it going to be a book that gets published? I don't know. First book I ever wrote and finished, I had self-published it, and guess what? Now it's not available to be bought because I just felt like I could do better. And I just felt like the book wasn't up to par with what I believed I could do. So I took it off the market and now it's not able to be bought, which is good because you all don't want to see that. I had started writing that book whenever I was like 19 or so, and I published that whenever I was 21. And so, I mean, it was a lot of work that I did put into it, but I felt like I still didn't have enough experience to really give that book the justice that it deserved and the writing expertise to write it. Believe me, I was proud of that book. It was my little darling that I will always cherish, but I'm not sure if I will ever have you all cherish that book because it was just for me and it was my starting out baby. Time is on your side whenever you're wanting to write books. Time is what makes you golden. It's what really makes you develop into the professional writer that you're wanting to be. So if you are young and you're wanting to have your book be published and you're wanting it to happen like right away and as soon as possible, just try and have patience because there will be time for you to write books. There will be time for you to get published, whether that be traditionally publishing or self-publishing, whichever route you decide to go on. You have time. Even though you feel like you don't have time now, believe me, you have enough time. Second advice for my younger writers out there is that you don't necessarily have to have a job in writing in order to write. And you don't have to have a creative writing major. It certainly helps if you have a major in creative writing, but you do not have to have that in order to achieve your writing dreams. If you're wanting to have a happy life, you're probably going to want to have money in the bank. And if you're wanting to make money as a writer, it certainly takes a long time in order to make that money that you so desperately need to live off of. That goes with self-publishing and traditionally publishing. It just doesn't make the big bucks. If you're wanting to write your book on a laptop, you need to have like electricity in order for said laptop to be charged. And you need to have money to be paying for said electricity. And even though your book may have its heroes that are very kick-ass and whatever adventure they're on, your world needs to have your own hero or heroine kicking ass by trying to be bringing in the bacon. Which can be done with a job outside of writing, or it could even be a job that does have some writing related stuff to go with it. I'll give 2 examples here real quick. Kristen Martin is a self-published author. I'm sure most of you all who are watching my channel knows who Kristen Martin is, but she had a job in the corporate world and she made good money at what she did. And so she used her money that she made on her 9-to-5 job and used that in order to be publishing her books. So Kristen used her day job that had nothing to do with writing her books and used that money to go ahead and publish her books. She made it happen, and she did it without needing to have a creative writing major, and she had done that for so long to where now look where she's at. She's full-time doing what she loves, and that's being a writing coach while also having her own self-publishing empire. So she's pretty much rocking it with how she's doing things. And then my friend Kate Kavanaugh, she's a freelance writer, so she gets to do her job at home. And while she's also at home, if she's not in the mood to do her freelance writing stuff, then she's also able to write her book. But she has a great way of balancing out work with her actual love of writing her own books, but then she's still able to write for a living too in some certain way. I love how those girls achieved their dreams of being a writer. You can either go for a job that has nothing to do with writing, so that way whenever it is time for you to sit down and write that book of yours, you're able to enjoy it because this is always something that you love doing and you're just so excited to finally freaking sit down and write. Or you can have a job that is somewhat centered around writing, like you could be a teacher where you teach English or something. Just make sure that it's something that you're going to be happy doing, but that is also going to be a stable income for you, so that way whenever you are either traditionally publishing your books or self-publishing your books, you're going to be able to keep up with it all. And my last tip for you young writers out there is to really take in criticism of your work. Whenever I was in college, after I was done being a dental assistant, I went back to school to finish up my associate's degree, and I also got to take a creative writing class, which was my favorite class of all time. I enjoyed going and talking with people about writing, and we got to read other people's books, and we got to have feedback on our own books, and it was pretty much like a big circle of beta readers all reading each other's work together. So not only did you get to help out other people's works, but you also got to help yourself. And I remember certain people who would critique my book and I would think, no, they don't understand the characters. No, they just don't get the story like how I get the story. I would think that whenever they would be telling the critique to my face in the classroom, but then whenever I went home to read over the critiques that they had for me while also reading the passages that they were critiquing, I started to think, you know what, they kind of have a point. The superficial part in me wanted to ignore what they had said because I thought I was right and they were wrong, which was very ignorant. But really, your project is so special and important to you because it came from your mind and came from you. But for these people who are reading your book, it's not special. It's kind of like whenever you're growing up, your parents say that you're like the most special kid on the face of the planet, but then whenever you become an adult, you realize that you're just like everyone else. Your book, baby, may be special to you, but to everyone else, it's just another book to read, and it's not special unless you prove it to be special with your story and your writing skills. So listen to their criticism, because most of the time they may be correct. But that doesn't mean to not listen to your gut. You'll know what I mean by having a gut feeling. Listen to your gut about those critiquing trolls out there, because I mean, your gut is always usually right most of the time. You'll just know. You'll know whenever something does not click with you and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna ignore this person's ideas. But for the most part, don't block out what people are trying to say to you to improve your book. Alright, so that's all the advice I have for you young writers and authors out there in the world, and this was so much fun. I had fun having my pigtails, and I had fun going down memory lane of things that I wish I knew whenever I was a lot younger. And be sure to watch Bree's video that I have the link to down below, so that way you can see what all she had to say on her advice to all you folks. Any of you all watching out there who are old like me, who could kind of relate to some of the things that I had said and had experienced whenever I was younger out there? And if you're new here and you liked this sort of thing, feel free to give me a big thumbs up below, and also feel free to subscribe because I post writing related content every week here, and I'll do it without pigtails next time. And y'all should totally follow me on social media, or you can find me at _Brooke Passmore. You can find me there on Twitter and Instagram. And thank you all so much for stopping by today, and I will see you next time.